today's video where we are gonna talk about dating in Japan, and I'm here with Jet.
So
we've been friends for like ever since I've been in Japan. So he's really my best friend, and yeah, I think it's a good partner to have talking about dating. I wanted a man's opinion as well. So let's get right into it. I have some questions that you guys asked me on Instagram, so we'll talk about the questions and then maybe explain our own situations and experiences as well.
hang on, move up a little bit. We're offset right now.
I can't, I'm sticky.
This is a comfy rug,
It's
thankfully.
beautiful, but it sticks on my butt. Okay, so the first question was there a language barrier when dating? So for me, the first year too, yes, because I didn't really speak that much Japanese. Now that I'm actually studying, it's pretty fine. So I would definitely say it's important that you learn Japanese. There are some people who speak English, but from the guys I've dated, it's pretty rare. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, my Japanese is still not great. I've been here for way too long, but I've never like formally studied Japanese. I would say 90-something% of the dates I've been on in Japan have been English speakers, whether they're Japanese or foreign. I've been on a couple of dates with Japanese women who didn't speak any English, and like it was okay, we had fun, but I would probably say, you know, you're not going to form like a meaningful relationship out of a date where, you know, there's just like a mutual attraction maybe, but no actual good conversation springing from a lack of language ability.
Yeah, I definitely would say so too. Is that if you don't speak that well Japanese and your partner that you're meeting doesn't speak English, then it's definitely hard to form a closer relationship just because you can't talk.
Right.
So obviously for like something casual or such, it might work for some people, but I have tried having a relationship with someone who speaks only Japanese at the time that I didn't speak so well. So, and it didn't go well. So yeah, I would say language barrier is definitely there. So study Japanese. Study Japanese.
Yeah, study Japanese. Even if you never intend to come here, just study Japanese.
Yeah.
Watch anime all day. Escape from the harsh reality of everyday life.
Is it any different being a foreigner? How does it compare to dating back in Germany or England? Well, I don't know if there's any different to being a foreigner because we're both foreigners. So I can't really tell.
No, I think they're asking, is it different dating in Japan to dating in Germany, and how? And in my case, I'm from London, so I mean, I honestly, speaking to other people, I get the impression, because we're in Tokyo, I get the impression that dating in Tokyo is not that different to dating in London because it's dating in a big city. And I think really the gap is more moving from country to like countryside to city than it is like one culture to another.
Oh, I see. So you think it's rather like this big city and countryside people difference?
I think that's definitely a really big factor because like if, you know, in London, like you can go on a date with a Japanese girl. Like, right, you know, and likewise in Tokyo, like you can very easily go on a date with a British girl or a British guy, or a German girl. So in that respect, like, yeah, maybe not so, from my experience, not massively different. It's kind of interesting from my point of view in that there's also the nationality element in, you know, I've been on quite a lot of dates in Tokyo with people who are not Japanese but not British either. Whereas I would say most of the dates I went on in the UK were with British women. So you do get like a more international element to it, but I don't think that's particular to Tokyo. I feel like if you were dating in New York, it would be kind of the same deal as dating in Paris or in London for that matter.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I get your point. For me, I'm from the countryside and I would say I had 2 major boyfriends in Germany, and one of them was Chinese and the other one was German. But I don't know, I also don't really see a difference between the 2 cultures. I don't know. Everybody is still late. Like in Germany, my boyfriends were always late, and in Japan, my boyfriends were always late.
Yeah. I've also, you hear a lot on like YouTube or these Facebook videos or whatever, or Instagram, where it's like, punctuality is very, very important in Japan. You should never ever be late. I don't think I've ever been on a single date where she wasn't like 15 minutes to an hour late.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I also thought like that Japanese and German people would be very similar when it comes to punctuality, but apparently not. Like I've always waited for at least 10 to 15 minutes, like sometimes an hour. That's like hardcore. But yeah, it's weird. Be prepared.
You'll occasionally hear like a weird rattling noise in the background. Sorry, we're shooting in my apartment and I'm right next to the train tracks. So yeah, occasionally a train might go past.
Yeah. Payment wise, from like country to country, for me it was the same. The guy offers to pay, but you will always be able, obviously, to say that no, we can half it or I'm gonna pay it. I think that's the same currently here too.
I don't think I've ever been on a date with a Japanese girl where it was not immediately like implied that we split.
Oh, really?
I think the only time where I've ever been, I'm not going to say under pressure, but I've been in a situation where I felt like I had to pay the whole thing has been with foreign women. Like American girls have a tendency to expect you to pay.
Oh, I see. So for me it's more like the guy offers like, hey, I'm gonna pay, and I will be like, no, it's fine, we can totally split. And they are more like, no, I'm gonna pay. I don't know if that's because I'm a foreigner that they expect that.
That's true. I would also highlight the type of women I like tend to be very feminist and very progressive. So right. I think in that respect, they're probably more likely to want to just go halves.
No, makes sense. That makes sense. Weird things, racism, foreign assumptions, behavior, character. How is a character? Open, shy, assholes. No, come back. Yeah, I dated a lot of assholes, I would say. Come back, Jen. No, let's just say that I guess my type of guy is just very bad. Don't look like that. Yeah, no, I've met a few assholes. Obviously not all of them, you can meet assholes and good people everywhere, so that's definitely not country-wise. But let's say the behavior of an asshole is different here than the asshole in Germany. I don't know why, but here it's just like, oh yeah, I have 5 girlfriends at the same time. You're just like, oh, okay. Or it's they're like, oh yeah, let's be together, let's have a relationship, and once you get to the point where you go to bed with them, they're gone. And you're just like, oh, you could have just told me if you just want a one-night stand, right? So that's kind of the thing that I experienced here quite a lot. And then one time we made a date and the dude just didn't come at all on Christmas. I wanted to see the Christmas lights. So yeah, that's my asshole experience. Do you have asshole women?
I mean, I've had more like negative experiences. I can't say anything like completely outlandish. There have been like relationships that turned very toxic and very negative like after years of dating, but I don't put that down to that being like a Japan thing. I think that's just like a general thing that happens sometimes when you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
I had a girl once ask me, do all foreigners have big or is it just you? which is extremely flattering, but I don't know, kind of weird tone shift during that evening.
Wait, it was during the date, like just random?
No, we went back to her place, and you know we were getting naked, and you know I'm a 6'2" black guy, so this Japanese girl. Apparently, she hadn't been with a foreign dude before, and she was just like, "Is it just you, or just all foreigners like this?" I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, nice."
For women, maybe it's just easier for a one-night stand. It's easier to sleep with us, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's like an assumption. Maybe that's what, like, I don't know if I really experienced it by hand, but that's just like what a lot of my friends told me from their dating experiences, that they had something like, but you're a foreigner, why don't you go to a hotel with me right now? So that apparently happened.
Yeah, it's weird because I get the impression that a lot of foreign men in Japan have this pretty racist assumption that Japanese women are easy.
Yeah, that one too.
But a lot of Japanese men also have the equally racist assumption that foreign women are easy.
Exactly.
So yeah, once again, I'm putting that down to just like garden variety misogyny as opposed to it being like a Japan thing.
Definitely. Character-wise, open, shy. There's both. Here, I think there is both. Like, you get shy dudes and more like open-minded dudes. There are some people who went abroad. Generally, in my opinion, the guys who went abroad and like either studied there or even if it's just vacation, they just have a little bit of a more open-minded mindset, in my opinion. They don't even need to speak perfect English, but they just experience different things compared to the guys who only stayed in Japan. That's what I experienced, and those people are definitely more open.
I mean, I've heard some real horror stories from women friends dating Japanese guys, like guys who just didn't talk at all during the date, and then, you know, they were like, "Oh, sorry, I was nervous, can we have another date?" And then on the second date they're like, "So what are we?" That was a story I heard from a friend of mine. But you know, there's socially awkward people everywhere. I do totally agree that like the people who have traveled just tend to be a lot less red flaggy.
Yeah. Definitely.
I definitely have like heard Japanese girls say like, "Oh, I want to have a half Japanese child."
Oh yeah.
Stuff like
that's
that, like,
often,
which is very kind of in it at the moment. This whole like
hafu.
You know, I think with people like Hachimura and Naomi Osaka and
a lot of famous hafus currently.
A lot of famous half Japanese people, you know, and something that's in the spotlight right now. Like, there's kind of a bit of a fetishization of this kind of biracial identity.
Yeah. How was the first person you dated in Japan? For me, it was. So, well, my first guy was, how old was he? 20?
19?
19. I was 20.
You were 20.
So he was 22, I think.
Okay.
So we were both 20. We think. We remember correctly. I met him on Tinder because like that's the first thing I did when I came here. I don't know why. You know, you just want to get to know people. And I was working on a day in the bar that I used to work at, and Ted was there too, so I invited Jay to the bar, and he was really nice, and we actually did have a relationship for some months.
Yeah, I'd say maybe 2-3 months.
Yeah, 2-3 months. There were some things, you know, he did speak a little bit English, and he was generally really nice. I would just say he was a little bit inexperienced and young. I mean, I was young too, but like, you noticed that there was a little bit of a difference in the way we grew up.
I've gotten the impression that there's a lot of like very young, very sheltered Japanese guys who, you know,
grew up in a very good family.
Grew up in a good family, but don't really have the kind of experience and tend to be a little bit like they make certain assumptions like about, you know, how your relationship is supposed to go and how you're supposed to date.
Yeah, and then there were just some, at the end there were just some things that didn't go that well, where I said, okay bro, maybe using these words or doing these things is not really good, especially towards a woman. And then I just ended things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
First person I dated in Japan is still a good friend of mine. We never started a relationship. We were briefly like hooking up and kind of having more fun, but no, we're still good friends. She's someone I care about a lot. Yeah, she's awesome. And the dates were fun. She was also like she was half Japanese and half Chinese, but like had spent some time, had lived in the States for like several years, so extremely worldly, very mature. She was younger than me. I would have been 26 or 27 at the time. I'm 29 now, and I think she was maybe 24 at the time. But yeah, no, super cool, super positive first dating experience in Japan for me.
Any experience with gaijin hunters?
Yes.
Yes. I think you get it every day when you go outside.
Less so if you're a dude, although I don't know, because I feel like the Japanese gaijin hunter is, I mean, typically looking for white people, ultimately. And
for dudes, white army dudes.
Not white, but and then on top of that, like you do meet the Japanese girls who just want to date a black guy, but I'm not the kind of black guy they're trying to date. You know, I'm like a weird music nerd with a literature degree, whereas you know they want like a big dude who plays basketball. Like you know it's
so
very
kind of the assumptions.
Right. I mean it's pretty classic racial fetishization in that case, but yeah, no, I think a lot of women who want to date a foreign guy are looking specifically for a white guy. And you see it sometimes where like you know friends of ours, like girls we know, will see like an extremely mediocre looking white guy, and you know someone who's not particularly remarkable in any kind of way, like you know he's not like in super good shape, he's not like built, you know, not like a big army dude or anything, just regular old English teacher, and they're like, wow, he's so handsome, like ikemenja.
And we're there like, yeah.
Bit weird, but you know, equally like a lot of these English teacher dudes like come to Japan because they want to have sex with Asian women, and that is an ecosystem unto itself.
Yeah. No, let's just say everybody's different. It doesn't depend where they're from. Okay.
Next question.
Who pays for dates?
I think we've talked about that one already. Yeah, I've generally split the bill. I'm currently in a relationship, and with my girlfriend and I, like, we'll split it. Sometimes she pays, sometimes I pay. It's whatever.
For boys, most of the time they want to pay. Like, even if I ask like 2 or 3 times, like, no, it's fine, we can split. Then they're not like, no, it's fine. So I've had like 2 guys where I split with, and most of the other ones they would just wanted to pay. But like, I will try to like at least buy like boba or Starbucks something in return, because like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Differences, expectations with like Tinder or other dating apps between Japan and here.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's hard to say. I feel like from my experience, like I definitely saw more women's profiles in Tokyo that read like, not here for hookups, no one night stands, you know, looking for friends or something serious. My impression here is that, you know, it's if you're trying to hook up, it's more of an unspoken kind of thing. But No, I think... Okay, so one big difference I have noticed in Japan when it comes to like Tinder, Bumble, etc. is the amount of girls with completely like anonymous profiles.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say too, yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you've got like a picture of food or a picture of your dog or the picture of the back of your head, like a French braid or something.
With a new hairstyle.
and your name is just like me. Or...
Jay.
Jay.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the same for dudes. They're like pictures of food or animals or just cars, or then their abs or like half covered face, so it's only like this. And over filtered, like snow filter like 10 times.
The filters. The other one that's really common is the like purikura picture, where there's like 8 girls crammed into a booth and they all have like massive filters on, and it's like you have no way of telling who you're actually speaking to in the photo.
And they don't actually look like that, even if you figure it out.
Right, with all the filters and everything, it's just like, oh, I'm the girl in the bottom left. Oh, okay.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, that's definitely...
I had a very strange experience once where I had maybe 6 pictures of myself, and just me, and then one of the pictures was myself with this guy Shingen Mori, who was the vocalist of a band that I'm a huge fan of. Looking down at my CD collection. Oh, there we go. So me and this dude here, Shingen, from Daljub Step Club, and not a great picture there, but as you can probably tell, this guy looks nothing like me. He's a Japanese dude, and a girl hit me up and she's like, "Oh, are you the guy on the right in the 6th picture?" And I'm like, "There are like 6 pictures of me, and then one picture of me and this other dude. What?"
I remember that.
That was kind of strange. And then when I was like, "What? Like, there's like 6 pictures of me here. Like, no, I'm the tall guy with the afro." She was like, "Oh, it was your aura I didn't recognize." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she was like, "Oh, Nihongo jozu desu ne." I was like, "Alright, I'm gonna unmatch
you." Bye! Oh god. Oh no. Okay. Oh. So that were all the questions. So do you have any experiences or things you want to share and put in there?
I went on a date with a Chinese princess once. That was kind of cool. I mean, we haven't really spoken about like bad dates. Like, have you had a bad date experience in Tokyo where it was just like a complete train wreck?
Before that, I also want to say I went on a date with an idol, so we get it. No, bad experiences. Well, what does count as bad? Like a dude not showing up?
No, not necessarily.
A dude stopped saying after 2 hours that they love you?
You had that?
Yeah. So we met in Shibuya, and then we went to the zoo, which was really nice, you know, zoo date. I think it was really cute. It was Ueno Zoo, and was really nice. And he literally was after 2 hours like, "Hey, I love you," and then like he was kind of stalkerish after I said that I don't love him. And yeah, it just didn't go well, let's say it like that. It's just got wild and weird, and always like, "But I could always be there for you, I will be perfect for you, I'll promise I'll be the perfect man." I was like, bro! Calm down.
Scale it back a bit, dude.
But like, it's not that he was a bad person, he was really nice, but if it goes that fast, then it just like goes like downhill.
Yeah, 0 to 100, that's definitely, yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, then my ex-boyfriend was Chinese.
Oh, this story.
The pain and suffering. Oh, this dude. And basically, he was someone that I really liked, which is kind of rare for me, that I really like someone, so it got kind of intense when we broke up. So basically we went out for 3 to 4 months, and then shortly before Christmas he went on a business trip to Thailand and China, and he said it's a business trip. Well, he like constantly sent me like pictures from the hotel and stuff, and one day, like 2 days before I should have gone to Germany, I wake up to a message from one girl and another girl, both Chinese, screaming at me in Japanese. And at that time I did not speak good Japanese. It was just like, help, what do you mean? Well, apparently he was on a business trip. God damn it, what was that?
Neighbor.
So apparently he was on a business trip, but on a vacation with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend and her best friend contacted me and were really rude. It was really scary. Women are
very
scary.
Hostile, yeah. That was, I saw some of those messages and it was...
Yeah, like, I did not know that, like...
And you were like totally nice to her as well. Like,
yeah, because it makes no sense to
You were
hate
like,
her.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know he was seeing you, but he's seeing me.
Yeah.
And she was just like, you're a whole... He doesn't love you, he loves me. Like, that was bizarre. It was a very bizarre experience.
It was very weird, and I just don't think, but like, why should I be angry at her? It's not her fault, you know? So I don't see a reason to attack the woman at this point. It's definitely his fault. But like, so I contacted him, and he actually came back the day before I left Japan. So we talked, and he was like, yeah, I actually don't love her anymore, and I wanted to break up with her on the vacation anyways, and then we had a vacation planned for so long, and that's why I didn't tell you. I was like I thought about it. I was like, okay, maybe, you know, he's young, he was 25, you can make mistakes. It's a bad mistake, but I was like, okay, I forgive you, it's okay, let's just, like, if you really break up with her, we can try it again. And we can just take the 2 weeks while I'm in Germany to like think about it. So when I came back from Germany, we had a few more dates, and then he was like, I'm sorry, I still love her. And then we broke up.
I mean, nothing disastrous. I would say my dating experience here has been mostly positive. I went on a date with an American girl once who was like incredibly hostile. It was weird. Like, we had some great conversations on the app. She was like very intelligent, beautiful, seemed like a really interesting person. And then like, it seemed like from the moment we met, I don't know if I did something wrong, you know, like I don't know if I like went in for a hug inappropriately, or didn't go in for a hug, or tried to share. I don't know. Like, I honestly have no idea what I did, but like straight from the get-go, she was just weirdly hostile to me, and very snappy, very like aggressive towards me. And then like we went to a bar and she was also like very aggressive to like another person there, and then yeah, I don't know, it was a strange date. I don't know, maybe she was just having a bad day or something. I don't want to hold it against her. It was the first time and last time I ever went on a date with that girl. But that was kind of weird. There was also the time I went on a date with a model, like a Japanese model, and she was like absolutely stunning. She was like 6 foot tall, and we were speaking on Tinder in English, and then when we met, she was just like, "Ah, eigo dekinai," like I don't speak English.
Yeah.
And at the time I didn't really speak any Japanese either, but you know, I tried to carry the date with my Japanese, and it was very quiet and very awkward. And the problem was, like, you know, my Japanese is good enough to like make basic conversation, but it's very hard to be interesting in a second language that you don't speak well. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was a bad date. Like, I had a nice time. Like the bar we went to this little like bar cafe thing on a rooftop, and it was nice. We had a good time, but yeah, no, that was very clearly the end when we went our separate ways. Like, that was kind of it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't say that, you know, there was anything on her there. I wish she'd like told me in advance that she didn't speak any English and she thought we were going to speak Japanese the whole day, but it's all good.
Would have been good, yeah.
It's all good, it's fine.
Yeah, no, that's sometimes that like the people text good English and then you arrive to the date and they're like, sorry, I don't actually speak English.
Which, yeah.
It's kind of weird.
But I've seen the same as well from like some of my friends, like my foreign friends who will be on Tinder, like using like Google Translate and asking friends who speak better Japanese, like, oh, what do I say here? What do I say here? And it's like, what do you think is going to happen when you get to the date? Like, you're just like speaking Japanese via text so you can get the date, and then you're just going to like play it by ear when you get there, I guess.
Or maybe Google Translate everything. Speak it in here, please.
Right. So yeah, in conclusion, dating in Japan, it's alright.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, no, all in all, I think you will meet assholes and good people everywhere. Of course, there might be cultural differences, but I think if you speak a little bit of the language and get like used to the culture, then you should definitely be able to have good dates and even a good relationship.
I have read a lot of stuff online that talks about like, oh, you know, like the girl is supposed to kokuhaku first, like do like the confession and all this kind of stuff, and like this very regimented, and this is how a relationship is supposed to play out. And while I think there's like a degree of that kind of formality and regimented stuff in Japan, at least from my experience, you know, as like an adult who has lived in Japan only as an adult, I haven't, you know, kind of spent like, you know, it was my mid to late 20s I've been living here. It's all been pretty straightforward and not ultimately that dissimilar to what I was experiencing back home. I would say people shouldn't concern themselves too much when it comes to like cultural minutiae, in that in every culture, whether that's in dating or friendships or business, people are very, very forgiving if it shows that if you show you're making an effort.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you show you're making an effort to like be polite and present yourself in a Japanese kind of manner, you know, you're not being like overly loud at a restaurant, or you know, you're being open-minded with like what you eat and what you drink, and you know, you're kind of just generally culturally sensitive, or at least considerate, people can pretty easily forgive like the little things.
I think so too. Yeah, definitely making an effort, just trying to be a good person is probably a good idea, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for watching this video with Kimiko Kasai as my friend today. So if you have any more questions about dating in Japan or other questions, just leave them down in the comments and subscribe. And if you want, check out my Instagram. I will also link Jed's Instagram down below. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.